Once the veritable vacation headquarters for America's wealthiest families during the Gilded Age, Newport, Rhode Island, is now notably a city of over 100 empty and haunting mansions. These majestic modern palaces aren't merely remnants of a bygone era. They are repositories of untold stories that could alter our understanding of history. Imagine stepping into one. The floor creaks beneath your feet, cobwebs grace corners, and dust floats in beams of light. The atmosphere is heavy with a sense of past lives, almost as if the people who once lived there are watching you, wondering why you've entered their domain. Indeed, these homes hold centuries-long secrets, stories interwoven with the very fabric of American history that are waiting to be discovered. In today's video at Old Money Mansions, we'll guide you through the top 5 abandoned mansions in Newport, each a unique spectacle in its own right. The top 5 abandoned mansions of Newport, Rhode Island. Music first on our list, we'll step into the wonderful abandoned world of high society opulence and sheer grandiosity that is Seaview Terrace or the Carey Mansion. Completed in the roaring year of 1925, this awe-inspiring abode is a magnificent marvel of 16th century French architecture. And if you feel the hair on the back of your neck standing up due to a creeping recognition of this sumptuous setting, it's because fans of the TV show Dark Shadows will instantly identify it as the external view of the fictional Collinwood Mansion. And indeed, what we have here is a mansion that's traveled in style. Viewers, Edson Bradley, a millionaire fueled by whiskey money, did the unthinkable. He relocated the entire mansion from Washington, D.C. to Newport in the lavish 1920s. And this man was no slouch when it came to the move. He reassembled rooms that were bona fide French imports. In the end, a stunning 54-room mansion reemerged. Award-winning architect Howard Greenlee lent his creative genius to the design. Although fate wasn't always kind, after the Bradleys met their untimely ends in the mid-1930s, their daughter suffered the harsh reality of losing the mansion to tax debts. Soldiers commandeered the property during World War II, and it was sold for a mere $8,000, a paltry sum compared to its original $2 million price tag. In the fabulous 1950s, it metamorphosed into a girls' summer boarding school, even becoming a backdrop for The Great Gatsby. Flip the scene to 1974, and the Carey family took ownership, later leasing space to a university. But this dwelling is not just bricks and mortar, it's the stuff of legends. Rumor has it the mansion's been featured on paranormal television series, utterly spine-tingling. Additionally, it possesses a one-of-a-kind whispering gallery, an exquisite stained glass window, and an ornamental hedge so extravagant it's the largest of its kind in Newport. So if you find yourself gallivanting around Newport and you stumble upon this colossal castle-like estate, remember, it's not just another pretty facade. It's a sprawling mansion with a past as riveting as the finest screenplay. Next on our list of the top abandoned mansions of the oceanic oasis that is Newport, Rhode Island, there lies an enigma, a deserted mansion shrouded in mystique known as the Bells. Now let's be candid. The park in which this mansion resides, Brenton Point State Park, came into being in 1976, but the Bells had already been gracing the landscape for a century. And the view? Breathtaking panoramas of an endless sea and idyllic land. It's the epitome of a millionaire's dreamscape. In its earlier days, the mansion went by a different moniker, the Reefs. Built in the far-off year of 1876, it was the opulent haven of Theodore M. Davis, a remarkable individual juggling the high-stakes roles of lawyer and copper magnate. After a long day in the courtroom or the boardroom, you can scarcely imagine a more sumptuous setting to relax than a custom-designed mansion in Newport. But Theodore Davis wasn't just another affluent, Gilded Age gentleman. He was an adventurer and a connoisseur of the exotic. Inside the confines of the Reefs, Davis displayed an awe-inspiring array of treasures gleaned from his worldwide journeys. Think Egyptian artifacts of equal rarity. The mansion was nothing less than a living museum, a vivid tableau of Davis's boundless wanderlust and diverse inclinations. Alas, the good times came to an end. Davis passed away in 1915, and the opulent residence fell into the hands of the Boudon family. A divorce in 1928 saw the end of their occupancy, but not the end of the mansion's rich narrative. During the wartime years, the federal government commandeered the property for defense purposes, planting a military battery right in its luscious grounds. The Boudons reclaimed their mansion post-war, but the allure had diminished. Divorce had turned it into a monument to heartbreak, its rooms echoing the ghosts of happier days. And then the unthinkable occurred. A devastating fire in 1960 razed this architectural masterpiece, leaving it a half of its former glory. Yet in the midst of decay, there's a flicker of life. Local graffiti artists have found their canvas in the crumbling walls of this forlorn estate. And so the Bells, once a sanctuary of luxury, now serves as a backdrop for contemporary street art. The mansion may lie in ruin, but it's undergoing an unexpected, colorful renaissance. For number 3 on our list, behold Belcourt Castle, an architectural marvel nestled within the luxurious environs of Newport. Crafted by the distinguished Richard Morris Hunt for Oliver Hazard Perry Belmont, this behemoth resembles a fairy tale castle more than a mere vacation dwelling. Conceived in 1891 and finalized in 1894, this astounding palace came with an eye-watering price tag of $3.2 million, equivalent to a staggering $80 million today. Mr. Belmont was a man of refined tastes, drawing inspiration from French Renaissance and Gothic aesthetics, yet generously sprinkling elements of German, English, and Italian artistry for a dash of eclectic allure. Modeled after a hunting house at Versailles, let's not forget Belmont was utterly enamored with horses. Imagine this. The first floor of this lavish establishment served essentially as a deluxe garage and stable for Belmont's equine companions. And one floor up, a master bedroom showcased scenes of noble existence, complete with Newport's inaugural standing shower. But life threw a curveball at Belmont. He was mugged, confined to a hospital bed in New York for an entire summer, delaying his first encounter with his completed palace. And the size of this palatial abode? Immense, dear viewers. Designed in the Norman style around a majestic central courtyard, even the roof is a spectacle in itself, embellished with copper dormers and chimneys. Yet Belmont, not a fan of Newport's nouveau riche, had the main entrance positioned away from the bustling Bellevue Avenue. And the interior is a marvel. An awe-inspiring grand hall leads out onto Ledge Road, monumental rooms bedecked with vast stained glass windows flaunting the Belmont crest. While the original blood-red damask has been replaced with golden fabric, the aura of grandeur remains untouched. True to form, the mansion has been a chameleon of sorts, altering its ownership, purpose, and even its facade. It's been everything from a private residence to a venue for music festivals, eventually metamorphosing into a museum. Alva's interiors encapsulate the American melting pot. Think sushi savored in California, country melodies hummed in Nashville, and pizza wars waged in New York, all unified under one magnificent roof. Endurance personifies this grand estate, having survived zoning issues, World War II, and even neighborhood protests to stand tall and glorious. Real estate fluctuations saw its value wax and wane, yet it remains an enduring legacy, particularly under the influence of Harl Tinney, who not only resided there, but also offered tours of the house before placing it on the market. As for the Tinneys, their contribution to Belcourt is palpable. They elevated the ceilings and cultivated rooms like the French Salon. While some artifacts may have unfortunately vanished, the survival of many others amplifies the mansion's enduring charm. Indeed, Belcourt Castle is more than a building. It's a saga, a magnificent epic in the heart of Newport, simply irresistible. Next on our list, we behold the enigmatic allure of Wildacre, an estate that effortlessly blends historical richness, architectural ingenuity, and a meticulous eye for craftsmanship. Nestled like a hidden gem in Rhode Island's picturesque Price's Neck Cove, this sentinel by the sea has stood since the dawn of the 20th century, precisely 1901. Its 3.5-acre expanse, designed by the illustrious Olmsted Brothers firm, is nothing short of an artistic masterpiece. Now let's delve into the pedigree. The original owner, Albert H. Olmsted, was no mere wealthy individual. He had the privilege of being related to Frederick Law Olmsted, the visionary behind the iconic Central Park in New York City. Fast forward to 1998, enter Dorrance Hamilton, a fervent advocate for the preservation of historical gems. When she took over this 8,000 square foot marvel, She understood the onus of responsibility that came with it, to breathe new life into the residence. Madison Spencer architects were summoned, tasked with the delicate balancing act of refurbishing the space while respecting its original architectural splendor. Legacies of the Olmsted brothers and architect Irving Gill. Now think of this. The roof droops almost as if burdened by the weight of its own history. Modern amenities needed to be integrated to make the mansion a year-round dwelling. Greet master mason Anthony Petitus, who used local Newport stone to reincarnate the estate's original aura. The landscape and mansion were skillfully united through a cascade of natural stones, including bluestone, granite, and greenstone. The meticulous placement of a swimming pool, mirroring Olmsted's original salt pools, maintained the subtle Asian theme intended in the original design. Overcoming the challenges posed by the unique stone shapes was no minor feat, but was managed creatively and elegantly. Brian Arnold, the man behind the stone restoration, paints a vivid scenario. Years of weathering had taken their toll, and extensive repairs were unavoidable. The scale of this refurbishment was immense. 228 tons of stone and an 18-month timeline, accomplished by a diligent crew of 22 workers. Absolutely Herculean, if you ask me. Navigating local regulations and agencies was another obstacle, but let's also acknowledge the vigilant gaze of the Newport Historic District community and the Coastal Resource Management Council, entities inherently concerned about the mansion's precarious proximity to the ocean. After hurdles and red tape, their eyes were finally opened to the vision of this meticulous restoration. Now Wild Acre stands rejuvenated, a model of collaborative efforts and an enduring slice of history, a masterpiece reborn indeed. Last on our list of the top abandoned mansions in Newport, Rhode Island, the Beechwood Mansion unfolds its own enthralling narrative, a tale imbued with creative vision and historical gravitas. Originally conceived in the 1850s as a marine villa for Daniel Parrish, a New York clothing merchant, the architectural duo of Andrew Jackson Downing and Calvert Vaux took on the ambitious project. Unfortunately, Downing's premature death in a steamboat accident led Vaux to see the project through to its completion in 1853. That triumph was short-lived as a devastating fire swept through, prompting a rebuild in 1856, once again under Vaux's meticulous supervision. Enter the Astors in 1880, the quintessential American high society of the time. William Backhouse Astor Jr. acquired the property for just under $200,000 to infuse the estate with the emblematic grandiosity of the era. Astor enlisted architect Richard Morris Hunt. His additions transformed the mansion into a Gilded Age sanctuary, complete with a grand ballroom, intricate libraries, opulent music rooms, and an infusion of Parisian flair via exquisite wallpaper. After Mrs. Astor's death in 1908, the estate oscillated through a series of ownership changes. Roll over to 1981 when Paul Madden, a film school graduate, breathed new life into Beechwood. Collaborating with the University of Rhode Island, he introduced the Beechwood Theater Company, converting the mansion into a living museum where actors donned Victorian attire, embodying everyone from the Astor family to their household staff. Even historical high society events were recreated, a spectacle that lent the estate a tangible sense of the past. In the modern era, the story takes another turn with Larry Ellison, Oracle Corporation's co-founder, who purchased Beechwood in 2010 for $10.5 million. Ellison's vision was no less ambitious. He sought to restore the mansion to its 1881 splendor, with plans to transform a portion of it into an art museum. Further amplifying his vision, Ellison has also acquired adjacent properties, reflecting William B. Astor Jr.'s original grandiose dream. Thus, the Beechwood Mansion remains a captivating blend of architectural genius, historical prominence, and evolving artistic vision. As it embarks on its latest chapter under Ellison's stewardship, this storied estate continues to be a living, breathing emblem of America's complex relationship with opulence, history, and cultural evolution. And now we'd like to see you in the comments. Have you been to Newport, Rhode Island, and visited one of these lovely estates? We can't wait to hear from you. And as always, thanks for your continued viewership here with us at Old Money Mansions. Cheers until next time.